What's going on, Ambitious Vet? Welcome to episode number 79 of the Ambitious Vet Show with U.S. Army combat veteran, founder and chairman of Veterans Club, and co-chair of Veterans Community Alliance of Louisville, Jeremy Harrell. Welcome to the Ambitious Vet podcast, where we believe that if you desire more than you have in any area of life, you have to become more in the process. My name is Chris Hoffman, Marine Corps combat veteran, turned social entrepreneur, family man, and personal professional development leader. On this show, I dive into the trenches with big thinking and conscious veterans who know what it takes to not only pay the bills after the military, but really live with a sense of purpose, satisfaction, and career fulfillment we all desire after financial stability is no longer a challenge to overcome. Ambitious Vet, if you haven't already, grab your pen and paper. It's time to gain the golden grenades needed to break through your fear barriers in living a life of purpose with passion right now. In the face of social distance, us as ambitious vets need to source a form of energy to stay connected to our mission, our purpose, and what we're going after, to say the least. Why not overcome that problem with Americans' Veterans Coffee, Black Rifle Coffee, where fresh coffee delivered right to your door as often as you need it, so you never run out. It's an easy 3-step process, comprehensive, even for us Marines to understand, so we can make sure that we're getting the ground, whole, or round beans that we're looking for. My specific favorite is Freedom Fuel, and you can actually get your bag delivered directly to your door for as little as $14.99 a month. No cancellation fee at all. Ready to reach your limits, Ambitious Vet? Why not subscribe to a veteran-owned coffee brand with a mission to hire 10,000 veterans who we both know that's listening to this that's undervalued and doesn't always have to be politically correct, but a community around a coffee company that has a culture of always looking to how we serve the bigger population in the world. If that sounds like you, visit blackriflecoffee.com or click the show notes below, and let's go ahead and get the energy we need to serve a bigger purpose today. What's going on, Ambitious Vet? Welcome to another episode of the Ambitious Vet Show, where we just hope that every time you sit down, run, hike, walk to listening to this episode, that you're getting the golden grenades to break through your fear barriers and becoming more in your life. What does that look like? We don't know. Well, it may look like career fulfillment. It may look like sense of purpose. It may look like increasing your life satisfaction area of your life. All I know is that to become bulletproof, just like we're in combat, you've got to gain the tools needed to actually win the war, right? Maybe it's daily battles, whatever. This is what this episode is committed to bringing to you. Now, Ambitious Vet, I know that this episode that we're releasing right now is in a season of life globally where we're dealing with crisis, right? And in the patterns of the world, it's very easy to fall into this victim mindset, right? It's very easy to fall into contracting and hoarding and trying to stop everything, right? But if you're listening to this, that's probably not who you are. You're looking to gain the golden grenades needed to continue to push forward. Have that forward way of thinking, the innovative way of thinking to impact your corporation, to impact your life, your relationships, maybe relationships at home, or maybe it's just being able to find a way to provide a solution to your employees inside of your own business. I don't know what it looks like for you, but I encourage you guys inside this episode to gain one. Listen for one golden grenade that's going to help push you forward in the times of this coronavirus that is having our country and globally fall victim to this fear-based way of communicating. And performing in life. So if you're listening to this right now, I'm excited for this interview. Jeremy Harrell, who is a U.S. Army combat veteran, founder and chairman of Veterans Club and co-chair of Veterans Community Alliance of Louisville and Kentucky Veteran of the Year. And he's done a hell of a lot more than just that. He's going to do a great job as far as lighting a spark underneath your ass and, having you start realizing that it's not always about the talking. It's about the action during these times, and he's going to be talking about how he's been able to do that with the Veterans Club and more of his initiatives. And also, Ambitious Vet, if you're listening to this, I want to make sure that you're listening for his philosophy of always looking for areas of opportunity when you get stopped in life, like we always do. It doesn't matter how we're winning in one area. There may be another area of life that we just feel stopped in. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the trenches with the one and only Jeremy Harrell. I hope you enjoyed this episode just as much as I did. What's going on, Ambitious Vet? Back into the trenches with U.S. Army combat veteran, founder and chairman of Veterans Club and co-chair of Veterans Community Alliance of Louisville and Kentucky Veteran of the Year, the one and only Jeremy Harrell. How are you, brother?
Doing good. How are you?
Oh, brother, better than good, man. But as we were saying offline, just juggling a lot, man, preparing for the wedding up in September and
Nice.
move to Dallas next month. And it's a lot of stuff moving, man. But back over to you, man. Let's dive right in, man. Let's talk about what you're most passionate about right now in life.
What I'm most passionate about, man, is enhancing the lives of veterans. Specifically veterans who are looking to elevate themselves to the next level, business owners, entrepreneurs, whatever they're trying to do to progress to whether it's career, whether it's personal, whether it's just anything. We just want to get behind them. I love mentoring guys, and the only reason I love mentoring, and I say guys, but it's veterans, right? The reason why I love mentoring veterans is because I recognize that oftentimes there were opportunities where I needed that, and I didn't know how to go about making that happen, and so I just want to be a beacon of light for them, to be a support system encourager, but also to poke them a little bit and be able to give them some advice that can help them grow.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And what I hear in that is like you're giving them a hand up versus a handout,
That's right.
Which is always good, going through the pains, the trials and tribulations of figuring yourself out of the uniform and then coming back and be like, hey, providing a roadmap. Because I think us as, anybody that's desiring to become more out of the uniform, that's the best way that we perform is, okay, how do I get to B, right? How do I solve the mission? How do I get to that next level is how do I get there? And it sounds like you've done a pretty damn good job as far as laying out the blueprint on other veterans that want to follow. So that's great.
Right. Yeah, and I talk about, you say hand up, not a handout. And that's exactly right. Like I talk, the phrase that I use is they have to have some skin in the game, right? And if they're not willing to have skin in the game, then that tells me that they're not serious. And we all know that time is valuable. Mm-hmm. And I want to invest my time in some folks who really want to make it happen. And so that's the first indicator for me is, what are you willing to do? Are you willing to earn it? Because I can't do it for you, right? And so it just gives me an opportunity to early on be like, okay, this is someone who wants to grow. This is someone who ain't ready yet.
That's awesome. And I love it because, Ambitious Vet, if you're listening to this, we did a pre-interview about a month ago or so. And being on the phone call with Jeremy, now we're in video, so I can see his energy and feel his energy on video, but he is just one of the most passionate guys in what he does. And you can tell right here that if you're not being intentional, if you're not passionate, if you're not willing to go through it to get it, you're not going to survive long around him. He's looking for the ones that are willing to put in the work. And I think people become bigger around you too, man. Like they just want to become better around you because you can just tell that you just hey, no bullshit, no reason or excuses. Let's get this done. So one thing that, I want to dive into here, man, is how was the first few years of you getting out of the Army, man, as a combat veteran? What were some landmines that you hit? And then also, how did you start overcoming those?
Man, it was miserable. That's the best word I can come up with, because my whole identity was in being a soldier, right? And so all of a sudden, I can't play in the game anymore, right? And so then I didn't know what else I was going to do. I joined straight out of high school. So I had no other, I didn't go to school first. I didn't have any other formal education. And so I was just like, what am I going to do now? And I stayed in that space for longer than I'm proud of. But what I realized is it was all about perception.
Mm.
The fact is that I was stuck in a place, in a void, and that I needed to figure out how to pull out of that. And the first thing I had to do is change my mindset from being a victim to a victor. What am I going to do? How am I going to use these experiences to better myself? And what have I learned from serving? I learned leadership. I learned resilience, tenacity, determination. And all those are great, great traits for any leader, for any business owner, for any entrepreneur, or just anybody who's moving up the corporate ladder. I mean, and so I just started, instead of looking at the weaknesses, I just started focusing on what am I good at and where are the opportunities to do what I'm good at. And then that's where I'm going to go and make it happen.
Right. Yeah. So Ambitious Vet, you heard that was my phone that just fell off the desk. That was hilarious. And, yeah, man, I mean, it sounds like, you identified, you started doing an emotional, inventory per se, man, to figure out, okay, what are the things that are, what am I waking up and just feeling afraid of? What are the things that I'm potentially indecisive with? Things that may be distracting or whatever. You did that emotional inventory, and then you found ways to be like, okay, what's a habit? What's a routine? What is something that I can actually start, implementing or applying to get ahead of that?
Yeah, I was diagnosed with PTSD, man, from my service, and so then I had all these people telling me what I couldn't do anymore, and I just got tired of that. I'm like, who are you to tell me what I can't do, right? Like that's not going to work. And so I recognize that. Yeah, I have this thing that creates a little bit of a problem for me, right? That creates a little bit of a speed bump, but it doesn't stop me. And and the first thing I decided to do, let me get educated on what it is that's my enemy, right? That's what we do when we serve.
Yep.
Like when we go to war, we focus, what is the strategy of the enemy? What do we have to look for? And how do we overcome? And so that's what I had to do. I just, instead of denying it and being a victim, I said, okay, this is what I have. This is what I'm dealing with. Got educated on it, got to the other side of it. And then I had a clear head to pursue and reach goals. And then I thought, well, man, there's other guys like me and women like me who are out there who can't get to the other side, and I need to help them. And so right away I was like, well, there's my purpose. That's my purpose. And so that's kind of how that all started.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, I've shared before on podcast interviews that I've been on, and it's funny because once you start investing in yourself, if it's time, money, or energy, you're investing into something to become more, is what I see. I invested into a personal and professional development program back in like 2015. It was called Life Directions. And there was this trainer who got on the stage, Jeremy, that was just like, you brand what you've mastered in life. Yeah. And at that moment, I was just like, man, I haven't mastered much at that point in my life. I got laid off of a sales job in one of the world's largest commercial gyms. I was a nightclub security guard, an event security guard, because that's what Marines do, is we serve and protect. You know what I mean? And at that stage, I didn't feel very good about myself, right? And I was like, what have I mastered? And I looked back and I was just like, wow, I've mastered like the transition. I know how to get out and actually find ways to create opportunity in life. And thus this whole movement started. And it sounds like for you, that's what you did, is you were just like, man, what have I actually been successful at? Right. Yeah. And how do I start investing more energy, time, education, just something to help continue to build your human capital so you raise your economic value so opportunities just continue to come, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, man. And it come to a point where it's like, okay, there isn't just one chapter in a book. Right. And I need to close this chapter. I served my country. I'm very proud of that. I wouldn't have changed anything. I love it. I would do it again if they needed me to, but that chapter's over. And so I'm going to quit living in this space that's not existent anymore. I'm going to quit living in the past, quit looking in the rear view. And I'm going to figure out, okay, what has it taught me? And what can I do to be an asset to the community, to the place I live, to this country in a different way? And then that changed the whole mindset to where you start doing this brainstorming of what am I good at? What have I succeeded at? and what are the needs of the people around me? What are the needs of a community, of an economy? I mean, we got to fulfill the need, right? And so you become successful when you find out where there's a need, and then you learn how to fulfill that need, and that's where success comes from. And I knew that because I battled some of the things that I went through, and the struggle that I had a terrible time transitioning. So I thought, okay, well, then there's a need for that, and I was around that all the time. And so I thought, I'm going to help these people transition, but not only that, I want to help them be the best version of themselves that I can. And the first step of that is saying, hey, listen, you are some of the most resilient people in the world, right? And so, when you serve, that was great, but you got to move on. You got to move on. And you got to start looking at what you want to do going forward.
Yeah, no, I love that. And yeah, I just love the whole idea of like giving up the rearview mirror, right? How many veterans, just from what I've been around the community since 2017, even for myself, man, how easy is it to look back and be like, man, that corporal chevron though on my collar, it's pretty awesome.
Right.
I bossed around 5 Marines and I felt good about myself back in 2010.
Right.
But I mean, really being able to be like reflecting and being like, hey man, what was the experience? What were the skill sets that I actually established while being a corporal in the Marine Corps in my case, or, in your case, what rank you hit, or the responsibilities, roles, stuff like that. And I just love how you have created that space to really reflect and unpackage your experiences in the past such that, man, you're not even worried about it. You're clear on what you've learned from the past. You're just moving forward. So
absolutely.
One thing that we were talking about in the pre-interview is like the big, the big six, right? The VFWs, the VFWs, the American Legions, and stuff like that. And let's be real on this podcast, because
absolutely.
that's what we need to, right? Is start educating on those organizations that aren't staying relevant to the current veteran problems in the marketplace, nationwide and even globally, right?
Right.
So, we were talking about, the VFWs being the drinking club, the American Legions being the bingo halls of veterans that want to talk about their glory days. Kind of talk about, with what you're creating, how you're getting ahead of the curve and keeping the glory days of veterans being still in front of them, brother.
Yeah. So, after being members to those organizations myself, man, I recognized that I wanted to do more, and that we had to do more for the community than be to sit at a smoky bar, talk about whose war was harder, and drink stale beer. Like, that just wasn't cutting it, right? And I've had the same conversation with those who run these organizations when they ask me, because I'm 100% real. And so I knew that if we were going to connect with vets, we had to do something differently, right? And so we had to do something also that included the whole family, because post 9/11 veterans, especially, we're in the heart of our careers, of raising kids and families. And I knew that that's not conducive to a family atmosphere. And who wants to do that, right? And so I thought, we're going to do some other connection activities. We're going to have family outings where spouses and children can get connected, because I recognize that just helping the veteran alone isn't enough, right? If we help them and they go back to an adverse environment, because they spend most of their time at home, and if it's not healthy, then they're not going to be able to maintain it. So we wanted to approach it that way, but we also wanted to do more interesting things. We wanted to be able to have good conversation. We wanted to be able to engage in some activities that were exciting, and that would that they would leave our events and go tell someone else about them, so that they would be interested in. Well, we always want to take it to the next level. That's what people would tell you about me is, Jeremy doesn't do anything halfway, right? And I felt like the American Legions, the MVets, I felt like it was halfway, and I'm not, I don't want to do that. I want to create the new age and take care of people that way.
That's good. It's very forward thinking, man. And I love that inside the veteran community, right? Because the post 9/11 veterans, from what I'm learning about, because I'm a post 9/11 vet, and just building this global ambitious vet network, is the post 9/11 veteran is more purpose centered, right? They're the millennials that want something bigger than what they have. And they're not necessarily chasing the dollar. They're actually chasing more purpose, and impact, and stuff like that, and family, right? Figuring out how to get their shit together to be a better man, right? Better husband, a just they're always looking to become better, right?
Right.
And I love that you guys have found that and are really doing a damn good job in Kentucky. So, and beyond it, because you're traveling and doing, retreats for an organization as well, aren't
Hmm.
you?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm traveling with the Mighty Oaks Warrior Program. I'm a team leader there, and so we go out. I go out 4 weeks a year to different parts of the country, and we have veterans from all over who, man, are just brokenhearted, dealing with life issues or combat trauma, and it's first responders too, and they just show up, man, and they're on their oftentimes on their last leg, and we just encourage and teach. And just talk about authentic manhood and what that looks like, and just really get them fired up about life again.
Mm,
And I'm saturated in that environment because that's what I love to do, and at Veterans Club especially, like, we're so intentional, and we battle in the trenches with these vets. So we're not here for a good time, we're here for anything that you need us for. If we got to battle in the dark together, then we will. If we're
yeah.
going to celebrate together, we will. And that's the difference, is they know that this isn't just a building where you can come and hang out if you want to. And this is a place where it requires growth. I encourage people to be better. I encourage people to get out and do more, and be contributors. And I think that's the difference.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And like they can just tell that you're someone that leads by example of that too. And you're easy to follow. I can definitely tell that. So thank you for that, man. Thank you for
Yeah.
we're sharing offline here, Ambitious, that I think he does more out of the uniform than what he did. And this man is
A lot more.
doing a lot of big things nationwide inside the veteran community. And it's just, he does it from a heart of service, which I think everyone that listens to this and myself can definitely agree that that's the best way to go inside of providing economic value in the world. So one thing I wanted to talk about here, Jeremy, with you, man, is last time we
Sure.
were talking is this whole philosophy that came up inside of our last conversation, man. I just love this whole philosophy of constantly looking for areas of opportunity
Mhm.
whenever, for example, you hit like loss of identity, falling into like imposter syndrome or perfectionism or any of this other stuff that an ambitious vet may hit as they're looking to bridge the gap and getting better in life. Like, walk us through, how do we actually, once we hit landmines like the things I just said, how do we actually, find areas of opportunity in life, man?
Yeah, so the first thing that I would recommend you have to do is you have to stop, and you have to reevaluate the process, reevaluate where you may have fell short, acknowledge that, have some humility about yourself, and recognize that, hey, I don't know everything, and should we put that on ourselves to think that we do, right? And the second thing that I do is seek wise counsel. Find the people who are doing the things that you want to do, and then ask them, reach out and be like, hey, how did you do that? People who are successful, what I've learned, love to tell you how they become successful. I mean, man, it's really easy. And so just ask them. They love that stuff, and just listen, but be prepared to listen, to take notes and put those notes into action, and
Mm,
just stay the course. Be coachable, always be training, always be trying to elevate yourself in a way that you just set yourself up for success. Just always be on mission.
yeah. I love that. What is that quote that says that opportunity is preparation hitting God's timing or something like that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, brother, I love that quote. And yeah, I mean, it's just like we say inside the intro to this show at the very beginning. Hey, ambitious vet, if you haven't already, grab your note and paper, because the golden grenades that you are getting out of this interview, if you implement, will bridge the gap and having you feel more career fulfilled, more impactful, or having a higher life satisfaction in any area of life that you're committed to improving in. So there it is. It's straight out of Jeremy's mouth, not my own. So, brother, I mean, kind of, can you give us an example of the last thing that you utilize, areas of opportunity, this philosophy that you talked on, and walk us through the outcome of actually leveraging this philosophy in your life, man?
Yeah. So the most recent project that we've been working on is this camp restoration project, and it's a homeless veteran healing and recovery community. And right away, we recognize that that's an epidemic, right, in America, is homeless veterans. And what I've noticed is sitting around these big tables, listening to these important people have all these grand ideas, but nobody's leaving with doing any work. There's no task assigned. There's no action items. They just talk about it and they leave. And I'm like, that's not what I'm going to do. I want to go out and do it. And even though I didn't have all the answers at the time, I knew that if I took action, that I would attract the right people to come alongside and help. And that's exactly what happened, man, is that I said, hey, we're going to do something. I'm going to figure it out, whether I have to learn it myself or someone's going to be a part of this. And so the other thing that we wanted to do is we didn't want to continue the Band-Aid of just throwing vets in buildings and scratching them off a list, man, and saying, hey, okay, they're not homeless anymore. We want to get to the root cause of why they're homeless. We want to peel back that onion because, man, if not, it's going to be a revolving door. We want to come up with solutions, not just Band-Aids. And so I was able to, to get more help than I thought I could imagine from more organizations, big organizations who I thought would just kind of look at me like this guy has no clue. That's not what they got, man. In fact, it's inspired them to come alongside, and they love being on this journey with me. And so that's the most recent thing. And we actually just broke ground on this project last Friday. And this was just an idea in August. We got land in October, and that's how fast we've been moving. But
wow.
The thing is, man, if you have goals, be relentless in your pursuit of them. Maintain control. Don't let them control you, right? Recognize that, yeah, it's true that we only have control of ourselves, right? We can't control kind of what happens outside of us, but we can control how we react to it, and we can also control how we move forward. And if you're lacking any of those traits or those characteristics, then reach out. There are people that are just waiting for somebody to say, how do I do this? And just be humble in that way. I think that's, if you were to ask, I think people that mentor me will tell you that I guess the biggest advantage I have is the fact that I'm coachable, that I'm willing to listen, that I'm willing to take notes, and I'm willing to put those ideas into action. And that's the difference. Because if we're fighting someone who's trying to help, nobody wants to be a part of that. And I know that from experience, right? And so that's what I would say, man, is just continue in relentless pursuit of what you want to accomplish. Don't take no for an answer. Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. Just do it. I love that idea. So, yeah, I mean, it sounds like you've gone from the why conversation to the how, because they say that anytime you ask yourself the why question, you're innovating something.
Right.
The how is the thing on how it gets done, man. And I can definitely agree with, sitting down with a lot of these major organizations, these major VSOs, and, doing a lot of Zoom meetings, just like the platform we're on right now. And to be completely honest with you, brother, is that I feel like once the grant money runs out, their actions stop.
Yeah.
So like, brother, with you, it's just like, hey, I'm going, whether you're with me or not. And I just love that because economic increase follows someone with your relentless passion and fearless action. So Ambitious Vet, if you're getting anything from this interview so far, just get the power of asking the why. Why is this problem happening in the world, right? Best way to start a business, side hustle, or even career advancement in your current position inside your corporation is ask, why is this problem inside this organization? Or why is this problem inside this product or service, or whatever you're trying to impact, and then follow through and build a needed team around you. And what are the hows? And go after it. And I promise you, increase in your value will just follow from there, and everything else that you want will follow from there. Anything else you want to add to that, Jeremy?
If there's an audience that's listening and they run nonprofits, and I say that because I run a nonprofit, and you mentioned the grants, right? When the grant money runs out, they stop. Man, that blows my mind. When the grant money runs out, figure out another way to do it, right? Use some common sense approaches. Be resourceful. Just power through. There's 100 ways to do things, right? Don't let money. And in fact, man, we've done a lot of things with. It would blow your mind if I told you how much money that we've done, the things that we've done, but we've been resourceful. We've built relationships with people. And if you get people who believe in you because of your actions speak louder than your words, and they will be ready to assist and help you. And oftentimes, a lot of our stuff don't even cost anything because people are like, you know what, man, I'm 100% behind you all. Here, I'll take care of this, or I'll donate this, or hey, you can, whatever it is. But when the money stops, the work needs to start, right? And that's the way I look at it.
Preach, baby. Come on, man. Preach your next stage of life. You know what I love it. I love it. So I wrote down something and I circled it and I put results. Results is the only thing people really want in life, man. They don't want, these, concepts, right? Too many people have concepts, man. They're talking about concepts in these boardrooms and stuff like that. And it sounds like you guys have done a damn good job as far as, hey, here are the results, who's coming with.
That's
and
right.
Being able to back it up. So, brother, we have a tradition here, man. We give a guest a chance to drop any of 3 golden grenades, man. You could sum up what you just brought in and simplify it, or provide us 3 more golden grenades, man, for any ambitious vet that's going to be listening to this, man, that's, stuck in life or looking to advance in career fulfillment, sense of purpose, or life satisfaction. What would be 3 golden grenades that you could drop in right now?
Be coachable, work hard, and let God lead, man.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, man. What I hear in that is surrender, detach, and trust. I love that. Absolutely. I love that, brother, man. So how can people find out more about what you're doing over there with all the initiatives that you're doing, Jeremy?
They can get on our website. It's www.veteransclubinc.org. We're on all social media platforms at Veterans Club, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And feel free to reach out if you have any questions about anything. If you need any advice, if you want to just bounce some ideas off of us, just get a hold of us at info@veteransclubinc.org, and we'll get back to you. We love to help. We believe in collaboration. We believe in empowering people, and that's my passion. So feel free to reach out, man. Don't stay in a hole without looking for a way to get out, because there's people who wants to help.
Bingo. Love it. So, brother, I just want to, come over there, man, and just acknowledge you for who you are for the veteran community, man. You're a guy that's results driven. You're not just out there talking about things. You're actually following through after someone talks about it. And just thank you for being someone that's a faithful, God-fearing guy that's out there fearlessly executing impactful things inside the veteran community, man. Thank you for being on the show.
Hey, my pleasure. My pleasure. Anytime, buddy.
Well, there you have the Ambitious Vet, episode number 79 of the Ambitious Vet Show with Jeremy Harrell. If you just listen to this and gain 1 golden grenade that you are just like, man, that is the thing I needed to hear to push through to the next level in my life, no matter where you're at, I encourage you to share this on social media. In a time of crisis, in a time of social distancing, find a way to connect our community together. Find a way to be that void that helps connect the dots with something that brings us together. Help us continue to inspire not only independent thinking, which is I'm always an advocate for, but always inspiring forward thinking in the face of perceivable impossible circumstances, correct? So, Ambitious Vet, share this on your social media, tag me and Jeremy Harrell in it, and I promise you, I will make time to comment on that and give you my feedback and just thank you for sharing that, because, we do this for you. We don't do this for us. We do this for you and making sure you are gaining the tools needed to continue to push forward emotionally, mentally, and even tactically in life. So without further ado, if you're listening to this, as always, we already know that you're warrior made. To become passion driven, you realize just 1 golden grenade you heard from this. And I promise you, your life will look totally different 3 months, 6 months from now, or maybe even 12 months from now, depending on your work ethic. Until next time, Ambitious Vet, hold the vision and trust the process. Take care.